Good morning. Today it's the 6th of January, and here in Sweden it's snowing a lot. So it's been snowing for days. We're really having a white landscape. It's really quite beautiful. This winter started off really mild with lots of rains, but just after New Year's it started to snow a lot. So I remain inside, apart from when I go out and practice some Qigong, which I'm going to do a little bit later when the sun is out. It gets really quite dark here in Sweden in the mornings and in the early afternoon. So I tend to go out and practice in midday instead. So this guidance that we are going to get this morning from the I Ching is going to be a guide for me in my Qigong practice and throughout the days, and I hope it's going to be of benefit for you too. So I'm going to start by placing all the coins with the Queen's head up, hiding the little spot on one of the coins. Is going to decide which hexagrams we're getting today. So we're starting with the lower gua, the lower part of the hexagram. So that's the first one. We're going to draw and shuffling the coins. And then we can start actually. Sorry, my throat is a bit croaky today. So we start by actually breathing into our stomach, sitting with our spine rising to the sky, the feet firmly on the floor if you're on a chair. Otherwise, and if you now allow your tailbone to drop down and your seat is becoming really heavy. The spine rising upwards, you're breathing in and out through the nose into the stomach. And now as I'm shuffling these coins, focus on your wish to find out what the energy is going to bring you today and how to navigate them. For the best guidance for the day ahead. So start heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, mountain, lake. So let's see where it sits. Thunder there, wind, water, mountain, and earth. So we're starting off with earth. Put a little, here's Mother Earth is coming through here early in the morning. And then I'm just going to, so that is yin. That's as yin as it can get. So that's 3 broken lines. And then call kun. Kun. And then turn the coins again. And heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, mountain, lake. Heaven, lake, got lake, do and it has 1 broken line at the top there. So with this we have I'm just gonna keep this one, take 2 coins out, put them back in my little bag. And then we're going to find where we are in the position of the energy of the hexagram. What's changing? And what do we need to focus more on? Oh, I need to turn that. Oh, sorry. Try again. Saw this black little spot. I didn't turn the coins around properly. So there we go. Start from the bottom. Second 6, third 6, fourth 9, fifth 9, sixth 6. So it's the line at the top that is changing. What I mean by that is that this line, so you start going from the bottom. So this is the beginning of the energy of the hexagram. And that is the end, so top. So you always read from the bottom up. So we're right at the end of the energy of this hexagram, which is lake over earth. So it's the earth holding the lake. So I'm just going to put my coins back. First, we're going to look at it. So the lines, like I said in the previous video, is that yin, they've got the correct position. So the first line should be a yang, second, so that's incorrect. Second is yin, which is correct. Correct. Yang should be yin, yang is correct, and yin. So both is correct. So both the central line and the top line is correct. The top line is changing into a yang line as well. So what that means is actually morphing into a different diagram. So the energies, this is how the energies are changing, right, as well. So it's also about if you follow the advice. So if you don't follow the advice and you don't listen to your intuition and what the hexagram is speaking about and do completely against it, then obviously you're going to get a different outcome. So it's all in your hands. This is only as a guidance to see where you can avoid pitfalls and find the smoothest path ahead in your day. So, and let's see, we've got yin corresponds the lower line in the lower gua corresponds to the lower line in the upper gua. So yin corresponds with yang, so yin corresponds with yang, but not the two top ones because they're both yin. And what this means, actually, if you look at it, that is turning into a yang. So at the bottom, we've got the most yin. The lower gua has got the most yin. So that's kun, that's earth. And the top gua, which is the top 3 line, is lake. But it's transforming, it's muting into, transforming into heaven, which is the most yang as well. So with this is the way we're heading to a very good balance with heaven above and earth below. But we're not quite there yet. So let's have a look. What could it mean? So we've got it's quite balanced. We've got 4 yin lines, so it's more of a yin, more yin power at the moment than yang. So it's more of a restore. And we're in winter here in the northern hemisphere, so that sounds just about right. So we're still in a rest and restore. There's not time for great action currently, but we're definitely heading that way. So I'm going to have a look at what this hexagram actually is. So we've got, I'm going to go to the back of the book here. I'm so sorry for my croaky throat. So we've got Dui, lake on top, which is, and then we've got kun, which is earth. So you find the earth underneath, and then meet there, and we've got hexagram number 45. 45. And we're going to 45. Which is, here we go, bringing together. Bringing together. So yesterday we had nourish, and today we have bringing together. So I think that sounds like a very good way of moving forward. More of a holding back yesterday to nourish and to contemplate before taking action. Being very wise in this. In this next hexagram, we're bringing together. So let's read about the we're going to look at the image today, actually, and then also we'll start off by reading the sequence of the gua. After encountering, which is the gua before, is the hexagram first, before things begin together. Thus, after encountering, bringing together follows. So you meet, you encounter people. So that what I mean is with the sequence is actually not the hexagram we had yesterday, but the hexagram that comes before here. And actually, we're quite high up now. So there's two parts of the I Ching. So you've got the the more heavenly part. So it's more linked to the heaven or the early stage, so the early, which is hexagram number 1 up to, I think, let me just see, here we go, the higher canon, which is the heavenly canon, which comes to hexagram number 30. And then now we're actually in the lower canon, which is the more earthly canon. And this is where we're bringing together. So 45. So let's look at the image. So we've got two bundles of grass there. And here, now I don't write Chinese and I don't speak any Chinese language, okay? But what I've learned so far, this is like almost like an arrow, or maybe it's gathering, I don't know. So you've got two bunches of grass here. We'll see. What it says, Blowfield, so bringing together means bringing people together. Bringing bears a sense of causing to come and imply a purposeful togetherness. Gathering expresses only a general idea, usually with no implications of arrangement. Bringing together is more active and productive and has a purpose. So you really go out and you bring together, right? It's an action. So now with the image, so it consists of two parts. At the top, there are two bundles of grasses. The lower part is the ideograph Zu, providing the sound. Zu carries several meanings, and I do apologize about my inability to pronounce it. Mandarin or Cantonese, I'm not actually quite sure which Chinese language this is, but I am not knowledgeable in it. That shall have to be my next study. So in ancient times, it meant a servant. So Zu carries several meanings. At present, it generally indicates a soldier, but in ancient times, it meant a servant, okay? And in very early days, it denoted a servant exclusively retained to make clothes for his or her master. The ideograph Zu looks like an upper garment on a hanger. So that's a hanger, and that's an upper garment on a hanger with two pieces of girdle. It makes clothes, pieces of clothes are purposely sewn together. Taken together, these images portray the character's original meaning, either collecting bundles of thickly grown grasses or bringing a multitude of people together. So this is the image here. And then if you look at the structure of the actual hexagram, which is Dui over Kun, which is lake over earth. I will continue just using the English words, I think is best. In its form and content, this gua has a close connection to union, which is another hexagram, which we're not going through now. So let's see. A lake is a place where a great amount of water accumulates. The ancient Chinese realized that this sort of bringing together is more powerful than that of a union. Union symbolizes a small community, such as a neighborhood, while Kui, bringing together, symbolizes a large community, such as a nation. So this is like a really bringing, so we're talking about the world here now. So I think it's a union, great union of people. And this is something we actually desperately need in these days when there's more and more separation going on. There's separation everywhere. We are so many countries going more right-wing, are rejecting immigrants, are actually throwing immigrants out. We are being more and more, you're like them and we're like us over here, grouping together in smaller groups and pointing our fingers at other people without actually really holding deep knowledge about the real situation. So today, or every day, it becomes more and more important. I think that we are taking a bigger look and seeing what unites us, what can bring us together, and actually start bringing us together and doing actions that will bring people together rather than separating us, right? Which is going on at the moment. It's very difficult times to navigate, and we really need to stay vigilant and make sure we're not getting drawn in to something that is not very good, because it's so easily when large groups of people, affect us, like the energies around that is so easy to get drawn into things we don't actually resonate with, and we might end up doing lots of harm without actually realizing it. I've noticed that we think they are the evil people who's doing the greatest harm, like somebody who's really bad, but the greatest harm is done by ignorance. Like we're not being aware of how we are acting and how we are being drawn into, and how our actions are actually in large group of people, right? A large group of people, like a large who does something in a group and believe the same thing, which often they haven't really taken any deeper thought into, and thinking and deciding whether is this for me or not, is this true or not. So ignorance is the greatest danger to any life on earth or anywhere else. If there is life anywhere else, I don't know. We need to really check what is true or not. If somebody says something, is this correct? Does this resonate with me? Is this really true? Or is this just somebody's agenda? And just because there's a whole group of people doing something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, right? It's more of a, the more and more people are coming together, the greater the energy is, and it's easier and easier to be drawn into that. So we've got to make sure we're being drawn into something that is loving and kind and creates peace on this planet rather than the opposite. Okay, let's read the decision. So Bringing together, prosperous and smooth. So that's good. We bring people together, then that's going to be very good. We're going to be prosperous, then it's all's going to run smoothly. The king arrives at the ancestral temple. Favorable to see a great person. Prosperous and smooth. Favorable to be steadfast and upright. Use big animals, good fortune, favorable to have somewhere to go. Okay, I'm going to have to read the text more on this one, because there's some parts I do understand, but not well enough to explain it well, and I might actually be incorrect. We'll see. So what it means, so bringing together prosperous and smooth means that this is good. Bring people together, that is good. The king arrives at the ancestral temple, and what I think this means is that the king, the leader, and quite often in this book by I Ching book, they're speaking about, or the I Ching speaking about the time when the king Wen, who overthrew the tyrant of Shang, right? So he was a kind-hearted king. There's also the Duke of Zhou, which I think was his son. Then also there's some characters, and it's actually referring back to these great kings and great leaders who actually studied the I Ching and then wrote parts of this, right? So the king arrives at the ancestral temple, so probably arriving there to make an offering, right? So it's favorable to see a great person. So here, what I take away from it now is to listen to wisdom, right? Talk to somebody who knows things, somebody who comes from a good heart. And I feel what I'm coming back to what I actually spoke about with bringing people together and making sure you join gatherings of people, or people that come from a beautiful place, from a great heart, not angry, not hateful, which is so easy to get drawn into. Here, stay vigilant, make sure you don't get drawn into something you do not want to be part of, and something that you might be part of actually without intentionally wanting to, but you become a part of creating something that is doing a lot of harm, right? And that's ignorance. So examine deeply before you join something, and examine the words deeply of somebody who speaks. Is this correct? Is this actually true? Double check with other sources. Very important. And speak to wise people, and also listen to the wisdom of your heart. So if you do this, you're going to be prosperous and smooth again, favorable to be steadfast and upright. So remain strong, remain you, stand up for what you know is the truth, because you have examined what is in front of you. Is this correct, right? Is this something I want to be part of? Is this truth in that person's words? Okay, so you remain steadfast and upright in your inner truth, okay, and listen to its wisdom. So use big animals, good fortune. I think with this, they're talking about offering. So in the ancient days, they offered animals. And then, so if you offered big animals, you give lots. If you give lots, right? And this is being generous. I think we can look at it that way, that you're being generous, you're offering of yourself, or you're offering big, well, then there'll be great fortune for you. So now it's no time to hold back your offerings. Well, you have got to offer that good, beautiful, kind heart of yours, and that sharp mind that have examined what is true and what's not true, right? So, and then you offer this truth to others in this big gathering of people, okay? And then it's favorable to have somewhere to go. This one I need to think about a little bit. Yes, you can move forward here. It is you can definitely move forward here. So it's ready. You are in the, it's a good time to take action now as well. It is. But examine. Make sure you take the action that resonates with your true soul. Okay, very important. So let's read the commentary. So bringing together, it is bringing people together, devoted and joyous. Yes, devoted and joyous. So we're bringing people together because we're going to do a big offering at the temple, and we're all devoted and we're feeling joy, great joy. So this is joy and love, okay? The firm is central and has correspondence. And this is what we're talking about, the central lines in each gua. So each gua has got 3 lines. So we've got the central. So the firm is central, which means this is probably the host of the gua, of the hexagram, right? So the firm is central, but also in correspondence. So it's in correspondence with the lower gua, okay? Therefore, people come and assemble together. So this is a good time, right? The king arrives at the ancestral temple. The filial piety, he presents his, with filial piety, he presents his offering. So he actually, with greatly humble and with great faith, he is often presenting his offering. So it's favorable to see a great person. This will bring prosperity and smoothness, bringing people together in a proper way. Use big animals, good fortune. So I'm not going to talk more about that because I just did that. Okay, so let's move on. His is following the will of heaven. By observing how all beings are brought together, one can see the truth of heaven and earth and all beings. So this is about having a clear view. This is something very important in Buddhism. It's spoken about a lot in Buddhism, and also in Taoism, which is and many other religions. But it's actually seeing through the illusion, right? You need to see clearly what is true, because a lot of what we're seeing is just an illusion, right? We don't see into the depth of a person's heart until we get to know them. Many times we can just see like a really flashy surface. They look great on the surface, right? But inside there is not much, okay? Or the inside might not reflect what's on the outside. And that's just an example, but really examine everything, what is true, and then listen to your heart again, okay? So commentary on the symbol, lake over earth, an image of bringing together. In correspondence with this, the superior person repairs his weapons to guard against unsuspected happenings. So I mentioned stay vigilant, keep, but joyous and with faith, but don't take things at face value, right? There might be lots going on inside that you're not showing on the surface. And very often when something is not very good, it looks good on the outside, but not necessarily but it's not necessarily reflected on the inside. So examine, is this true for me? Are the words true? Is this coming from the heart? Is this good for all beings? Okay. So that's that hexagram. We're going to look at the last line as well, which is the top 6. And to see where we're at in the energies. So lamenting and sighing, bitter tears, no fault. Lamenting and sighing, bitter tears, he does not feel safe at the top. So let's see. The topmost line represents the last stage of bringing people together. Here is a yin element at a yin place. She's weak and unable to unite people. She feels isolated and helpless, and so she laments, sighs, and sheds tears. She needs instead to examine her motivation and conduct. Setting the blame on faith and destiny is not the right attitude to adopt. Yes, very much what I spoke about. Examine, right? Your motivation. Is it your heart that is speaking, or is it hate and anger, right? Hate and anger will never take you to a good place. It will never take anyone to a good place. You must always walk with your heart first. If it comes from your heart, even if you have to take actions that might not seem like you might have to go out to war to protect your family or your country, or you might have to maybe ask somebody to leave from work, like fire a person or something. But it must come from the heart, because it must be of the benefit of everyone, right? Sometimes you have to cut something away, but you can never walk first with anger, because anger is making you lose control. Hate is just makes you lose control over your thoughts. You lose control. You don't know what you're doing. So that is never good. Even if you have to do something that is difficult, do it from your heart and then consider why you're doing it. Really, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this? Are you firing this person because you want to be nasty and just tell them, ha, I'm powerful, I can do anything with you? Or is it because that person is not good for the rest of the team? Maybe that person is not doing their job. Maybe they are spreading toxic talks and energies within the team and bringing people down. I don't know. What is your motivation? Okay. Yeah, I think that was today's hexagram. So number 45, bringing together. I'm not going to talk more. I can sit. There's a lot more to go through here. Each hexagram has got hours and days and weeks and years of wisdom. But we'll get there together, maybe, in the end, going through this every morning. So I'm happy you were here, that I could share this with you, and I'm hoping it will be of benefit to you today.